Okay. So, this is actually the second time I attempt this. I deleted the first one because it catastrophically failed the first time, something with my network. And okay. Thankfully, we hadn't started playing or anything. I was actually mentioning before that I was given a little beautiful gift. This little Mew. I mean, I find it incredibly cute, and it was a really nice gift from somebody I care about. But the thing about this is that I'm not even sure if Mew is that rare. But you think it is? Well, you know what to say about something that is a contradiction. Point your finger forward and say objection. It was incredibly corny, I know. But okay. At least at this time it was actually at the start of the stream and not in mute. Because the first time that I streamed this and I tried to make that joke, it was on mute. So anyway, last time we went into case 1 again, since it's pretty much the only case that I haven't played with all of you. I have already played it, but I know that some of my friends are actually watching along, and I don't want them to go into chapter 4, which I imagine is where things are gonna start getting connected, without getting the information of what happened in chapter 1. Last time, our hero, Naruhodo Ryuichi, Ryonosuke, Ryuichi is actually, if it's right, got completely, what was his word? He got completely accused of killing an Englishman in Japan. And the situation between Japan and England right now is pretty tense because they seem to have formed relationships and, well, basically, English are treating Japanese as lesser people, and some Japanese are actually acting as if they were lesser. But turns out that in the case, it turns out that there was somebody else in front of the victim in the restaurant where this happened. A woman. Which apparently was hidden because she was also an English woman. Apparently, her partner, Asuma... Oh god, I forgot the name of the partner. Great Ace Asu. Oh god, my... I'm getting an itchy feel. Oh, my brain. Kazuma Asugi. I was mixing up them first, their name and last name. Kazuma realized that there's an English woman in the school where they work, where they go to school together, where the victim was actually being Wilson, Dr. Wilson, which apparently is an alternate name for John Watson from the Sherlock Holmes movies. And well, this woman apparently also goes to the same school that they do, and as such, she is looking pretty suspicious right now. Especially because she was hidden by the police and by order of the government. Now that we have brought her back, we have forced the court to make her testify. And she is being brought in. So without further ado, let's go back into the action. Oh, right. I forgot that I was making the voices of everybody here. Okay. Not many more things to do than to just do it. Excellent work, Ryonosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. I don't even know if this is the voice that you gave me last time. It was a grim sight. Before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it! It's terrifying! If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a court again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett. Student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to her detective friends, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just as I went down and picked it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. This is a very good way of telling everybody what happened last time, don't you think? Was thinking by the detective. He apprehended his suspect with a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Hello, Mr. Mikotova. Professor Mikotova. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system, even more so. Which is why I'm gonna pull the little microphone a bit further to my face. Thank you very much. I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I am the kind of man who can help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. UMA is the school where they go. It was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. They already did this? I don't know. Okay. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo! Court recess is over! Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once! It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what has hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, I'm fairly sure I'd have already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Let's go to court! Alright then. I'll set the thank yous for after the trial. Good actually sounding. I'm gonna make a small test. Sorry for this. A second. Okay, it works. Basically, I was checking that it actually sounded in my computer. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria at University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Mosquitoes. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain John Stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders?
Founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinion, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses? Is this what our nation's justice system says? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up! Shut up, you Johnson, rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing! Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in! By aligning ourselves with this great world power will become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly about. A country that fails to uphold the truth of its justice. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. I kinda bungled the most cool line that he has said all this trial. That is embarrassing. Well said, Ryunosuke. despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats!
Thank you, Council. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system. It exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes. Ouch. Your Excellency!
That surely hurts. Here she is! Oh boy! This is gonna be very fun to voice.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine, gentle woman to Japan. Oh, and from such a distant land.
Tea! Somebody bring English tea! In English, no discussion take place without tea!
Is that true? No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival, but my
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, what are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said that your powers of observations are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Look at how she's dressed. Look at how her hair is. Look at her freaking goose at the top of her head. Our hero said that he saw a woman. Just a woman. What the heck is wrong with Ryunosuke? Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking, and that is to say the least. Guilty.
She's a guilty! He's guilty! So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
Wait. Saba. Did I catch that line perfectly? Did you like it? I like her English. It's quite refined.
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What?
The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. He comes from... No. I actually made him more rough, so... The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. I think that's perfect. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Jumedi University's medical faculty.
Oh my! What a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the English British people. Let me try. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you say, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously define an England Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. Oh, that's right! That explains how he can actually understand the English that they talk in the other cases. Okay, that makes more sense. The court thanks this beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? He says, yes.
This could take some time.
So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, but she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I just followed special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? I may be sure to be changing it to photograph, or photo. Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Oh boy, that is a direct accusation. That cannot end up well.
Order! Order in court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy that is. Unfortunately, I'll have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you describe. Yes! Dear Lord, this is gonna be interesting. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. I mean, she could have just hidden one. This is a condemned instance. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all!
Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and look at this snow-white angel! I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can't imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
Ooh. Here comes the racism. You're still making the same mistakes, Grunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn.
Ugh, but he's so annoying!
Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before. I reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm, you know, because... Like, look at this pic. I'm gonna take a picture of this, and you can tell me if it doesn't look like she has any place in her wardrobe or her clothing. Look at that thing! There's a lot of places where she could hide it. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. I know that I'm saying that, and I know he's saying that. I don't need to even dub that line. Because we all know that that's how she looks.
Unless and until the precise location.
Oh boy, what? It didn't work? Okay. I guess I have to present it like as evidence just to check him. I'm concerned that yours didn't appear. Hello, Chicho. Just in case. Let's check it back. This is gonna be a small test, sorry. Okay, it's now connected. Perfect.
Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have a hidden weapon can be shown, this is moot.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. You know, because I can just put it anywhere in my clothing. There are those are the witnesses on words on the matter. Ugh, that's ridiculous! If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it! Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't find the gun I picked up! There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that. Which means, this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we'll need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, that evil smirk. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency! To be unfair, I would be scared as well. Okay, we have already dubbed these lines, so let's go with that. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor wasn't able to eat, so blah blah blah. Let's see the end. I always like to see the end. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him.
Which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie.
Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform.
I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. I still don't understand how those things can move like that. They're freaking alive.
Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can do that, the trial's over. Even you with your thick skin must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. The fact that I can see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Okay, now that we have seen the end, let's press the first one.
Yes!
After 2 PM, in fact. That's really quite late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Japan. Ugh. You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Japan, do you?
Why did I say Japan again?
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, isn't that right?
No. I like that part. No. This is an English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted to Safety Theater earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrive at the restaurant. What happened next? Then we have the next part, which is... The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak.
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hora Clinic, isn't it correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering? Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean... that it was you who ate the steak picture here. Isn't that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left?
Dear me, what a harrowing experience! You have traveled to a distant island in the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady.
Okay, I went way too high.
Have no fear, my dear lady. I sir will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Please give me a second. Sorry everybody, my mom arrived and I had to say bye. Sorry, not bye, hello. Anyway, so it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? I forgot how pathetic that is. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, how fascinating. Tell us, what is this profound bearing, hmm?
The significance of that statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness' last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well, sidestep, counsel.
Very well. Miss Brett, Glenn will repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. Apparently, the judge and Hosonaga are way too close. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I hope there are some more useful tips that you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. I ordered a beef steaks for myself and the professor, and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water.
Yes!
Well, that's actually new now that I think about it. So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak. That was for you, Miss Brett? The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Which is actually quite surprising to me, to be honest. Yes, that's true. What a frightful praise, is the lady opinion. And I've heard that it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? Animals? True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to the witness statement. Wait, somehow I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pause on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma? Okay, let's go one step further. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. I never got into an argument with the professor! All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello! Please, do not get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant to the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese.
No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all speak English.
I like how he says it. Because that is how it sounds. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever. Or only in the presence of a beautiful woman, huh? Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. Testing. Well, yeah, it is. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That pertains in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still have some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I had finished my coffee and stood up to leave. What a mean woman. Then, although afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Like I said, I did not shoot that gun! And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side.
Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand.
Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. That is a really unfortunate situation. In fact, yes! There was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. The highly suspicious lady in the street.
That will do, you dirty drone and scoundrel!
Whoa! I can't believe that I was even able to say that. Dirty?
Your baseless accusation could very well cause an international incident, boy!
Boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours.
What nonsense!
The lady's merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? This is hilarious. Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, immediately after the incident. I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a gun, a weapon. I expect this thing. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not."
That's all you did? You just asked her?
Surely you carried a physical search, Inspector? No. Why on earth not?
The Honorable English woman did clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter.
Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps?
Think what you will! But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the fine lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts.
Oh wow, that's hard. In other words, he wants evidence. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there. I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Oh boy. Which is why she's only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course.
Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm going to.
Okay, blah 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 blah. We have to go forward because this is something that we already saw. Okay. This is simple. He says that they made cheers over a glass of carbonated water. But if this is a picture of what happened exactly as this has happened, then what did they cheer with? There need to be a second glass. There's only one here. So, objection. Oh right, he still doesn't say objection. He says yes. That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd! Very odd! God.
Dear me, what's odd is the defense inability to express itself.
Rionovsky, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously it's the cheers!
The ears?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be two glasses on the table, not one.
Oh,
You're quite right, counsel. There's only one glass picture here.
Objection!
are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over miniature?
How do you even say that? Why don't you talk like this, Ouchie?
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over over nothing? A possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minutia, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not! I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been two glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me that you can clink with only one? Well, I'm gonna point something out. You can clink with the bottle. But I'm pretty sure that they're way too classy of an English people to just drink directly from the bottle. You're quite right. I certainly took two glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and I thought I should try to hide the fact that I had been there at all. Saying,
Good gracious!
sorry.
This woman is a... Oh god.
There, as I assured the core before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please!
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion right before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or doing her state of disarray?
That's absurd!
Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief?
We're gonna go further than that, you know.
What?
No, this can't be put down as to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by the well-to-do woman in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. The student has been trying to confuse the core with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes down to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. You want to pursue this matter further? You're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. There's a deeper significance, it's... the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the Quorum that all English women carry handbags for small items.
Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right! Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire the gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. A true murder weapon, if you will.
You can seriously be suggesting?
Inspector Hosonaga! Yes. Did you or did you not search Mr. Selbrett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order!
Order! Order!
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the concert at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner! Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search that lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary. But here we go. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Oh, the glass is there. Well, I never! You can see right through the what's inside! That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. Also incredibly unpractical. I mean, the coins can't fall off anywhere, but okay, whatever. So the contours are clearly visible, and easy to fall off, as you say. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. There had been a gun inside. It would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. God, they're coordinated. Thank you for helping. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. I like how desperate he gets. Order, order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence as once. I really like this music. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag has been entered into the courtroom. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted to the court appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench just before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
Oh, just when I thought I was beginning to turn the things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Uh-oh. Kazuma is down, and his headband is not even flapping in the wind anymore. That is very bad. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ronosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it?
I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You were wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. The fact that you can chew onto your heart's contents from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I did not commit? Kazuma! His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma! What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis in which we can argue for this trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems we will be able to report to the British government in no time after all.
That smug little... Ryonosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, yes! I hereby find... Wait! Your Excellency! Ryonosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
This motherishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency thinks the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter. And I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question!
Objection!
This is plain straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is a handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Grenosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the correct scrutiny. This is the part where I fell absolutely in deep love with this game. I really did not see this coming, and when I saw that what had happened, I lost it. I just completely lost it, went on Twitter, posted everything, was shouting in my bed because this part is where I fell in love with this case. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone this thorough scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag.
My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wishes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a whiz. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. Only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
But be warned that if I'm unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Boy, that hammer looks incredibly threatening. I don't know if he's gonna smack it on the table or over my face. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. I'm gonna leave you guys like 5 seconds to see if you find something really weird in this picture, okay? You can't see anything in this picture at all. Think it through, because I'm about to say what it is in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is simple. I mean, look at this. This is bad, right? This is what everybody's taking attention. But there's something else that we have not seen yet. What is this?
Yes!
Look at this here! There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was wondering what new pitfall you would come out with. A burn, you say? On the victim's wrist? Really, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
Why did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
Okay, the phone has been answered. Let's keep going. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Auchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Oh boy, what does he say now? Oops. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer.
She clearly wants to escape. Something that just happened is making him want to escape.
I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise that shutting door back. We might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Counsel. You can possibly hope to do that.
Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can allow you to pursue that, but it's little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence? Evidence that irrefutable linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? He's scared. He knows something about that burn. I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is a moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Have you seen? Look at the shape. Obviously, nothing of this is going to explain anything. That is the thing about the first cases in this series. A lot of times the evidence is kinda obvious. But it still would take a lot of time to people to understand what happened if they actually didn't pay attention to all of these pictures. What links the shape to that? Well, this one in particular. Let's use a magnifying glass and point it here. Can you see it? It's exactly the same shape.
Yes!
And this is where everything gets absolutely crazy. What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at the scenes, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady in further really will be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What?
Oh,
Objection!
Go.
you can fool me with your little bluffs, boy? If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
We already know.
Yes!
The beefsteak?
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. Give me a second. Quite English womanly of me, doesn't it? Time for a piece of tea to help my throat. You like some? Okay, let's keep going. I'm back, everybody. Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate.
Aha! Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark at Le Carnival. Oh. This emblem on this plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape.
Ah!
Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
Well,
Objection!
sadly, Professor Kirito Auchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Oh.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
But
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have been taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it, something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burned themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds straight would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day, or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his read on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the surgeon, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Professor Kirito Auchi?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost do not believe it! Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamed we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... I'm starting to think that maybe... we've been led into a terrible trap. It was here where I lost it, by the way. Absolutely lost it. There is only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting... Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already?
Dad?
Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's stable that day, the professor was already dead!
That's madness!
Order, please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once! The victim was killed by a gunshot!
That's right! That's absolutely right, Your Excellency! This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly has no grasp of the facts!
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Auchi, it's you who has no grasp of the facts!
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down, or had you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again! If it's true as we now believe that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But Your Excellency...
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. I really like this judge. He could just take the easy way out, as many others have in the past. The first case in Spirit of Justice was actually very annoying because the judge was all the time ready to just tell you to F off. But this judge actually is taking into consideration everything, instead of just being scared of the Japanese-English treaty and everything. And he's actually giving you the chance to present yourself. And it's being fair. I like this judge. But rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. We go. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. I need to make her more posh. I really need to make her... Let me try something. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Miss Brett! You speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all. But then, what have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. Oh boy, what I give to
to have Chicho here reacting to this freaking line. He would absolutely despise this woman.
As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
I already hate her again.
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of the English gentleman. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
I hate him. I hate him. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. I'm actually totally going to invite this guy. Things are getting interesting, Rinosuke.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter broke my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report show no other possible cause of death besides a gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please to show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up in it anyway.
Dear Lord, she's a bee. I hate her. I hate her now, and I always have hated this woman. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
I meant losing it.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May the irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen.
Thanks?
Was that a prayer then?
Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with that cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, but this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
It hurts to do that, by the way. Yes, Your Excellency.
Then you may proceed with the cross-examination.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds! You cannot have noticed! Do you think so? Let me ask you something!
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at his courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those
supposed slightly black cruiser just has been wide open. You cannot have noticed, can you? Oh my god. What? Ah! What fun! You hadn't realized?
The dear lady's absolutely right.
As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can't your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
Oh, yes. Yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes!
Oh god. Well, I can't. Anyway... I like how that part is English. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at a time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although, whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Damn you! Oh, I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of the court, others in the courtroom, it means... bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway, and I'm gonna say anyway, ever like this every time. I'm gonna go to the ending. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I don't know. I think this could be hard work. She can speak Japanese brilliantly, but she doesn't seem to want to say very much. The more she says, the more she's likely to give it away. This English woman knows that only too well. She's quite formidable. Dr. Wilson Byrne tells us something, I'm sure, and it is a cross-examination to find out what. First things first, I'm going to press her on everything she said and try to make her blurt something out. What is it, Kazuma? What are you thinking? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing.
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
Yes! Luckily for all of you, a little burn that wish isn't going to kill us all. And as there were no other signs of trauma in the victim's body that indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense! The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burned his wrist in the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the table, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection!
And yet the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Professor Auchi is right. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, just show me. Without leaving a trace? If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There will be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If heaven forbid you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh, no. Where's the thought? Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question? If on my honor, I, Takatsuchi Ouchi, will cut down any who dares cast such aspersions.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace.
We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later investigation. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Oh my god, why is he so proud about this?
Wait.
Exactly! Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, any evidence may be lost.
You all see that?
It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, do you understand?
A killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing! He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchi is finally starting to see sense? I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about that what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Rinosuke? Very nice. I think it's going terrible. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean... Find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma? What, Rinosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes. He seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe? Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman in herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Here we go.
Yes!
The one. Blah 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 blah.
Wait.
There it is! Yes! There it is again! The detective's reaction is just the same as before! Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful to not let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find out they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him, he's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryonosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker.
What marker? Are you breaking the fourth wall again?
At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement.
We actually already did this in case 3, by the way.
But by moving the marker left and right with the left and right directions, you can turn your attention to the other people at the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. You can catch the person at just the right time. You might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around.
Alright then, so I first should have to move the marker across with the arrows and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A. It was on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
There it is. And now...
Excuse me.
Excuse me!
Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Why did I say that if he was gonna do it anyway? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his own thoughts. Deeply.
It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps, having heard what the lady next to you had to say?
If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. If you can find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works?
Absolutely not! The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness!
Eh. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes?
No. Yes.
Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett?
Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. Brett is not happy about this. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I'm ashamed. It's a good thing that I made some tea because this is actually hurting my throat. Ah, this is very good. And I'm not ashamed of what I've done. He's reacting like me. A crime scene thief?
Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touch a nerve there.
Take this for example. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, there's some left in that bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be amongst the best in the world. Time is coming, I guarantee it.
I can say I condone the witness actions, but I don't understand the sentiment. The court will accept the last bottle of water as evidence.
The carbonated water bottle has been entered into the court record. Let's do what we always do with the evidence. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma?
I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to friends and ask. Did you say that you don't know? So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looked like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a little sip of this to keep me going. No, Renosuke! You can't do that! For one thing, that's evidence! You can go drinking evidence? Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Renosuke. In more ways than one. I wonder... could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. This is interesting. Whoops. Can you confirm that this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel. You may resume the cross-examination. And the music has sped up. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Okay. Is there another way to take a... is there a way to take a man's life without taking an obvious outside injury or trace or anything? Actually, there is.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. I'll allow Renosuke to explain this one. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from this glass? Oh boy.
Order, order, order!
And on that day, who was sitting on the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it! Giselle Brett, it was you!
Objection!
This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing with a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we only have just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the faintest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual killed with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may,
I will silence you forever for this disgraceful attack on the...
it is you who should be silent!
Of course! Dear lady!
where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady, but to what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I presume, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it! Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests from for every toxin that's available in this country at this present time. We could find no trace of poison for any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the Chief Coroner himself. No! I'm very grateful
grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrible affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution has asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Pratt. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
Whoa! I didn't notice that the camera goes back. Please wait! Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. To be continued. This is a good spot to stop momentarily. I'm gonna take this amount of time just to take a bite or something, and then I'll be back in like 5 minutes or so. See you later, and be right back.
we're back in action. I had a good meal, and now I'm ready to go back. Ready? Let's go. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant and a woman, no less.
Oh my god, let's see. Racist and sexist.
The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Well, there were other times.
Yes, I fully understand. I asked only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But Your Excellency!
But are you scared?
I am most grateful.
Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something written in English.
It's Giselle Press Research.
The English woman?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Britt was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Facial characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Oh, curare. What's that? I've never heard that word before. To be honest, I haven't heard it until I played this case for the first time. But turns out that it's real.
Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be palatable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful, thank you!
Goodbye then, and good luck.
Let's check it out. Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. Hunters of this region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate its prey. Special characteristics. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full bloody paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. You have had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Oh god! I burned myself with I burned my tongue with a coffee, and now I'm already having trouble trying to make the voices. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency! The defense does have new evidence! That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior.
Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency?
Wait.
Yes, Your Excellency?
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely
Now, forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however, I must ask you to treat that as an order. Ugh.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
This B thinks English makes sense? Buffalo, 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 My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand that you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Jumei University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? What complete another nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
Now there's something that I need to say because this is going to involve it a lot. Curare. Curare. Okay, curare.
It doesn't exist?
Correct, which means no matter what test the police can do for toxins, they never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To laser arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare poison suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! This aspersions us other trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been screaming and grinning in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed such a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, affected victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles to control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That is incredibly terrifying. I have seen so many people react to this line, and that's incredibly terrifying.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would seem almost like the victim was sleeping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. Oh boy. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is a very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto known poison for which there's no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense!
If I may,
All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must make talk so much.
it is you who must be taught!
Of course! Dear lady! I hated this line! I know I heard a lot of people say it with it!
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What?
You steal another honest hard work and then announce the result as if you discovered them. I'm appalled! What a loathsome act!
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this! I for once refuse to accept it! The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the Great Empire of Japan is breaking the rules!
What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me! Your Excellency?
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not?
That's how you fill up a bottle, huh? For an undercover detective, he is a very good waiter. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys!
Sorry?
To an English woman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy! Your little police games and these foolish co-romantics is laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Oh god. Wait!
What are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Don't you just hate her? She's a lovely, gentle woman, isn't it? Isn't she? It's a nightmare to deal with. Goodness! Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course! That's the simple truth.
Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this campaign, most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Boy! Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to be poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand that.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little forester charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have killed our dad. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water.
I have to take note. I am going to answer correctly. The first time that I actually played this, I was tricked. And this was the only negative penalty, the only penalty that I got during this case the first time. By the way, got a penalty on that case 1. That is absolutely impressive from the case. But yeah, the bottle does contain poison. In my defense, I thought that she had actually poisoned the cup itself, and I forgot the reason why he could do this.
The culprit did Kirero poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Oh, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw
Miss Brett drinking the water from it?
That's right! Which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be! Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
The report itself.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. Just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirely by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? We've been hearing a lot about this Kirero poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of their arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be no traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, wouldn't they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, counsel! No, that would be madness!
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics it says this.
The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
In other words, this woman really has a lot of trust in her gums.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Kirere enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poison effects, however. When it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Kirere's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. Exactly. You meddling little rapscallion!
Oh god, I love this part. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? Lawyer?
All of this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but as I fail to see how it was—
Shut up!
Whoa, I even read it by instinct.
So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he reads in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish?
Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, Kirere is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Basically the stomach.
Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers, what are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Let's see how many of you have already figured it out.
That's right!
Gracious!
That's basic science! Science that even schoolboys should be able to understand, no?
Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this Kirere poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right! Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that! I love this series. I really do. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. More than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Breath! How? How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why. Even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison, you are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead! Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Kirere? I'm not even gonna comment. I like that he finally stopped saying yes for everything. As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. Fatal difference? The toxic effects of Kirere are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. But for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water?
I pain inside?
Yes, like the one you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example.
Ah! Miss Breath, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah! So that's it! You used that knowledge to orchestrate this!
Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile.
What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough.
Uh-oh. Danger!
You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No!
I mean, why? Could just slip. Oh, no! Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have been just tragically destroyed.
No! I mean, what is it? What happened? It's the English woman! She just smashed that bottle! And in the Supreme Court, what terrible blunder! Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect as much water from that broken bottle as possible at once!
You're wasting your time! This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
I know that this, in other cases from the Ace Attorney series, was ridiculous. And people wonder why they just don't arrest a person right there and then. But think about this context. They are having trials and they are using logic and scientific research and modern photographs and everything for the first time in these cases. I actually can give them a pass, because maybe they have never faced something like this before. The evidence was destroyed by the witness. What do we do now? I don't know, I have never been in this situation before. And to be fair, why would they? They have been using cases just so little ago that it makes sense. How could you? You won't get away with this!
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not.
You!
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course! You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady?
That's right! I'm really looking at this photograph. It's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No! You killed the victim that day, using curare! And then in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the poison you arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor around. You see? You had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gun to the chest. Gunshot. Delivering cold blood by accused. Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable! How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really gonna get away with this? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene! Ryunosuke! Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What? What do you mean?
We've lost a battle bit of evidence, it's true. But if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon.
Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head.
To think back again now, try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell, every little thing.
What I saw? What I felt? Every color. Would you look at that, everybody? Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same thing in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? I mean, there's a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might uncover another clue.
You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then! Let's wipe the smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence!
Alright! I can't wait! It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to having the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... okay. Why?
Take that!
It was way too obvious. Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this! Yes, what is it? 2 miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Let's check if this is already good. Much better. Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
Wait a minute. Where are you going with it?
Where are you going with this little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. I think I could look at the photograph and the relative position of everything here. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have been ended up directly behind him. Yes, for blood to have made it into the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Breath! I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense! Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remember seeing? To be honest, that actually makes sense.
Hold it!
That was Hosonaga. Oh my god, look at her. Look at her, she's sweating bullets.
this. This could be the moment my entire career in the police force has been leading to.
Inspector, you mean?
Yes, I took the plate. In the interests of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene detective, a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the surgeon had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice.
Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now!
Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir! Sorry for the delay. Here is what you order. The steak.
Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't!
Quickly, Inspector, the blood man, show the court! Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure.
No blood. No blood anywhere. But no! That's impossible! I know I saw it, I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the center of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy! You see, this is why I always say you can trust what your Japanese tell you.
I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion of this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend content at court proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's sober.
This sorry-looking steak reveals the fact all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Was the plate I saw or the thought I saw just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost!
Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final table. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what.
Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection?
That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all?
There's another clue.
Your Excellency, please wait! This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a true examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I am completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. It's a newly affirmed ally of my country. That's still your position, is it?
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? Okay, let's start analyzing stuff.
This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat?
It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. It seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware.
So this is the same symbol of La Carnival, is it? Nothing over here. Let's check the actual steak.
Huh?
What in the world is this?
I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoeri era, I believe.
No, I don't mean what it is. I mean, what's it doing here? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei common?
Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable.
This isn't the first time today that there's been a talk of a Hoei coven.
I've heard of pearls before swine, but I never heard of bullion or in bullion.
The writers were like, high five! Yeah! Bullion and bullion! Yeah, sure. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary though. This means...
I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick bed of meat. And it's from the Hoeri era too. That will make it really quite valuable.
It's well marinated in the juices as well, look!
What are you thinking of eating it?
No, but the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize.
I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Grenosuke.
A common coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation.
Got it!
Good gracious, that's...
A coin?
What on earth?
a Hoera, one of that.
Miss Breath, this is in fact the beef steak that you ordered at the restaurant the day of question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life! I don't know what it is, but I want no part in it!
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? This could simply have been a careless mistake by the chief in the moment of distraction.
Yeah, sure.
Don't be absurd! We're supposed to believe that this happened by mere accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoban coin just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now!
He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Hey, Your Excellency! Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoei common just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now! Yes, the one that you started today.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of this coven that was found underneath the beef steak is... Curiosity Collector.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Rasute, Curio Correcta-san. Curie? As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Unfathomable. Oh god, and you haven't seen the first of it in this series. Do you know that, well, the world you live in, right?
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency.
I remember him saying that he was up to something with his command coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired.
That gunshot.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
You busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed! Beware, Coban! My prize coin! Oh god. I forgot how much it hurts to do that voice. Then this hurry, Coban! Do you mean to tell me?
No. Please, why would Correcta-san Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his blade? It makes no sense.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Correcta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. I can't believe we've come back round to that pair again. Me neither. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Coban, we'll find that it's a key element in this case. Everything here... incredible. These two are the ones that actually ended up revealing the fact that the woman existed.
What's this about? What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby idol? His soul's belly is empty. He's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police, we were, like miserable dogs, forced to be a false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, myself I became a ruined mind and a dries, a worthless wither antique. Nothing more I have to say. The sun has set on this resident shop owner's existence.
Does it may, Correcta-san? Something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this?
Ah! That's it! The one, the very one, the very sad one that is. The splendiferous Hawaii's treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace. Fateful day!
It can be.
The thought.
Young man, enlighten this crepidal foe. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere.
We found your coins sandwiched between a beef steak and its plate, soaking in the season's meat juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously?
Clearly, it could have fallen there by accident. Oh my god, I'm mixing up the Old Man Boys and Kazumas.
Which means somebody must have hidden it in there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hawaii treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an inconceivable thing!
Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret and uncommon operation.
La Carnival is a high-class cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's such rich clientele. A number of incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. Wanted to nip the case and deport quickly, especially with so many foreigners being afflicted. So that's why you went and sent an undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this common incident is the work of the same thief.
So ominous to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems.
I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korakuta-san's coven is all too clear.
What?
What?
I think the Corps would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korakuta-san's coven and hid it under stake?
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you! Certain Aistanosa!
What? How? How dare you? You monster!
Monster?
I stole the coven, did I? I'm the master thief of the carnival, alright? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, Karat? But it wasn't me! It was Aido! Aido was the mastermind behind all this!
Yeah, the baby.
I can't believe that he said that.
You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby?
It is you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa!
Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop!
Hi, baby.
Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Ayes Nosa, prepares to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir.
That was a very fun breakdown, even though he's definitely not a killer.
Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe?
I understand the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower ranking soldiers to make a living, yes.
All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son!
That's what you were selling things at the restaurant?
The place is heavy with money! Every 2 days, I go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time.
It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even. Which is worryingly believable.
And your target that day was the old man and his command?
Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all.
A veritable phantom thief you are.
I was all set to leave the stable. I was halfway through the barring when it happened. Yes,
Yes, when the professor was shot.
I knew that if the police conducted a research and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Idle too. So I hid incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the stick, hoping that I'd be able to rent the books with it again at a later date.
I'm surprised he hasn't stabbed him with the knife that he's always carrying around, or hit him over the head with the bottle like he's always polishing.
This is ridiculous! Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd plotting in your own time?
Well, Miss Brett?
Oh, of course, dear lady, of course! How rude of us! I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May this team, gentlewoman, please be excused, Your Excellency?
Indeed. The death of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense? Is it?
And as for picking up your stick and beating into it without using a knife and fork, it is beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now that all the questions concerning this witness testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her.
Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day.
Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming.
Oh, no, it's just... Something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up.
If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard.
Sorry?
You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Wait, Miss Brett!
What is it now?
I'm afraid just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a moment ago.
What are you talking about? What contradiction?
What what news sort of nonsense is this?
Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke?
Hiding a coin under a lump of meat, the sheer idea of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting it without using a knife and fork, being nonsense, it's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it?
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes. Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural?
Natural? What on earth do you mean?
It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I like that fact. I see you've now noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting it without using a knife and a fork.
Of course she did! She's a refined English gentlewoman herself!
Then take a good look at the steak, in particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric hit marks there.
It looks like Miss Brett has realized something.
So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and a fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks on the steak at all!
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was revelly hungry and couldn't help her.
Oh God, what am I gonna do?
Oh, whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course. This will be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything to...
I've heard enough! You irritating little spectacle!
Spectacle?
You irritating little spectacle samurai relic!
Of course! Dear lady!
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers?
Good one, guy. Good one. Clearly the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications that those teeth marks in the steak have for her.
Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this?
Yes. Now at last, it's all coming together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with a cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the stakes are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the stake here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You don't even know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet.
Hasn't been hit? What?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
This is absurd! The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can be! I don't believe you have it!
Objection!
I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Take that!
The only person possible. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding evidence? You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence?
That's ridiculous!
No, I'm not saying that! Everyone's attention has been focused on this stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the courtroom the following. I'd enjoy chomping down my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Correctasan's coins, he told us that he slipped it under the steak.
You watch it, Cadet! I'm a superior officer!
Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake?
Attention! Affirmative, of course! I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still!
I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me my handling here.
Her mail to say hide something in it!
In other words, the stake that the detectives submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense! That plate was taken from the victim's table!
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it! To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire! Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly! Surely you're not going to suggest that the surgeon switched these two stakes over? Did switch the plates?
Well...
After it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked! As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hit the coin underneath. Then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I had it! If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. But when the cadet here was arrested and taken off the kitchen, I seized my chance.
Basically, he used the time when they were hiding Ryunosuke in the fridge. The waiter, of course, being Hosonaga, was doing that in the first place. Uryu was looking for the coin. And of course, the woman was just trying to escape.
military precision and timing, I switched my stake while the one on the foreign state is stable.
What? You can have! I never saw you do such a thing!
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell ya. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable!
However, fear not, Prosecutor Son.
What now?
I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That's all I did, sir.
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant!
Yes!
So if Sergeant knows I switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table.
Yes, that follows.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Early in this trial, you told the court this. You saw that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the surgeon's. But to preserve evidence, you had taken both. This is a new sprite, she's desperate. That's correct. Then please present to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the present moment he was shot. Just so you know, this music doesn't play in case 2 because there's no court. And it doesn't play in case 3 either. So this is the first time that you are hearing it, if you have been watching all of my streams from this until now. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of dog meat, it can have the slightest spirit in this case.
Objection!
No, you're not wiggling your way off this time, lady. I beg your pardon?
Surely you're not that forgetful.
Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan had promises to prove such a problem for you, no? Ah, you're the one who decided it was not a problem, not me!
The reason the defense asked to see the play was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing.
Thanks, he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest.
I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett.
Let us not prolong this trial any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for keeping you. Here is the other steak and its plate. You can see it from here. Please feel free to examine it. Here it is. A drop of blood. Look at that clean cut. Actually, it's very good. That looks like a delicious steak, to be honest. The blood. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look!
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that the moment that the victim was shot, he was facing the table, with his back to me.
In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
Ah! It can't be!
In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everybody knows by now who that person is. That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you!
Oh, Tom! By a Japanese? Me? By a mere Japanese schoolboy? No!
And then she dies. But why is she going to heaven? Girl, your destination is the other way around. Would you like to turn back? So many little chicks. That's actually quite good.
Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency.
I cannot believe that I lasted that long making that scream.
It was I who took the professor's life, using curare. As you surmise, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So you plan to kill the professor?
Knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes, of course. I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been eating dining alone. And then leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table.
That would be me, I suppose.
Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter. But the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he would then fall. And there was no going back at that point. So I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent.
I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
Calm your dirty mind. I know that you have been drooling for this girl all the trial. Calm it right down. Actually, let's even make it worse for you. You're 51, and she's 24. Okay, that's not as bad. At least she's over the age.
Under your skirt?
So I was right. There were two guns.
Yes.
And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it.
And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you went down to pick it up,
that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead.
naturally the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was a culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun.
This is very, very frustrating.
So there you have it. That is the entire of my misdemeanor.
That's how you call it? A misdemeanor. This was not a big deal. This was
A misdemeanor?
ugh, die in a fire.
Your Excellency,
Yes?
I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo-san.
Oh god, just go away, you freaking bee. Even now, I still hate her. This is the second time I've done this case, and I have actually watched this case a bunch of times more from other streamers. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement.
This can be. Akitsuchi Ouchi does not lose. Not to the like of this rookie student.
You'd better start getting used to tough opposition.
Ah, Renosuke Naruhodo.
What? Yes?
This insult to the Ouchi family name will never be forgotten.
You become conceited with the Age Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that.
Thank God Naruhodo moved away. Kazuma, are you related to Virgil? Because I'm realizing the fact that you made that sword slash from all the way to the other side of the bench. Or maybe Sephiroth? Because that kind of slash from a sword, it's real. Especially from where you were standing.
1,000 millennia might pass, and still the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan.
This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency! The use of evidence. Thank God this is the end. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. Oh my god, that is modern! After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigations and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits. What it looked like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi.
Yes?
After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you're able to. And do not forget, fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
I understand, Your Excellency.
Now you see why is it that I wanted to replay this case? What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden?
Ah, never mind.
As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense... how can I put it? initial potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. And now in the defendant's bench. Time to deliver the final verdict. Here we find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Not guilty! Yay! Oh. I did not remember that they were cherry blossoms here. This court is now adjourned. We finally begin? Oh, thank God. Okay. So, that was extremely bad, but let's just finish this already, shall we? And the last just some minutes ago, I have been trying to finish this case, but the network has not been agreeing with me. Finish this before something else happens, okay? So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Oh, well. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusted judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much! Let's see if I find the pause, by the way, just to check that everything's okay. I know that I do this all the time, but yeah, I want to make sure that it's actually working. Okay. Can I hear myself? Let's see. No. That's I'm going crazy. There it is. I'm going crazy. Okay, I can hear myself. There it is. Okay, let's continue and finish this already. Thank you so much! If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course! Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Yusato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant of the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba... Ah, there you are. Now this is the voice that I was actually supposed to be using now. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed a true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Ah, yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He wanted to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you work together?
I've never heard you mention that before.
Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. And what's happening in the world's largest melting pot.
I will. Learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan.
You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you?
Of course I am. The Japanese man's katana is his soul. This place shows me where I need to go. Cuts down anything that's in my way.
Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes.
That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder.
Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's a true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga! It was a hard-fought battle in the Coron today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate— But what's all about this consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who's going to bring her to justice?
A British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away where our voices can be heard.
But why a consular court?
Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty.
Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right.
Then so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that.
Oh, can't they?
Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify your government's making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on.
So Miss Brett can be held accountable for her actions here in Japan? I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British Government Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. Oh, hi Alex. Really? That's the only comment that I get today, and it's the freaking game? They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student coming in murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves.
Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it.
Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor...
You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun.
In that case, might I suggest the Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival. Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Carnival's food is second to none.
I shall go and attend the paperwork for Naruto-dan-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. So Giselle Dredd won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never know or find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma.
Yes. Yes, Ryunosuke?
I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today.
I didn't do a thing! You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work.
Your skills made a difference though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world.
Estoy haciendo todo lo posible.
I am not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me.
What? Come on, be serious.
If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean.
Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again.
I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you.
That's the point.
Sorry? What do you mean that's the point?
Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win?
Knowledge of the law?
No! The ability to believe.
To believe? To believe what?
A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times.
Like you believe in me when I said I didn't do it.
I'm human just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe on, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person.
Believing in your client.
Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing in me.
Well,
You face seemingly hopeless situations time and time again, but you never stop looking for the truth.
now I face it.
And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stop believing in me.
Thanks, Kazuma.
There's something I want to ask you actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me.
It sounds serious. What is... Oh, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go.
Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first score victory!
And yours to return to Great Britain, don't forget.
Ah, yes, that too.
So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Sato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still.
It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. And that is the end of Case 1. Of course I wanted to to not stop the stream, but I mean, network connections can be a doozy. For now, we have finished Case 1 for the first time in stream. We have finished Case 2. We have finished Case 3. Time, we're gonna go into the adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. Yes, that's actually the name. Thank you, everybody. Now that I don't have too many viewers, but I still enjoy to show you these games. So for the next time, I hope I can see you again time, and I hope that you enjoy it, even in repeat or on live. I will always welcome you, and I will keep playing this for you. Take care, everybody. And without further ado, I think I have to end the stream for tonight. My throat is completely parched anyway, so I would not be able to go on. Take care, okay? Bye-bye.